Libra, welcome to your monthly horoscope for April 2024. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in this video, I will be going over all of the energy and the major themes and topics you will be navigating for the month of April. Now, April is the biggest month of the more eventful month of 2024. So there's quite a lot to go over. Now, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and enjoy my content. So let's get right into it. So, first week of April, right on the 1st, we have Mercury stationing retrograde. Now, there's a lot going on around relationships for you, Libra, especially to having the nodes in your first house and your seventh house. And so, this month is really big for relationships and one-on-one connections. And with this Mercury retrograde, there could be a lot that you're rethinking and reevaluating around relationships. And with all the Chiron activations, it could also be healing within relationships or healing aspects of yourself. And we'll get into all this energy. On the 2nd, we have Venus forming a conjunction to Neptune. Now, Venus is your chart ruler. This is great for creativity, imagination, any artistic ventures. This is also great for spirituality, any intuitive work that you have to do. And it's also good for romance. Now, on the 4th, we're going to have the sun conjunct the north node. So this is a typo. It's not Neptune. The sun is going to form a conjunction to the north node. And this is when there can be something very powerful showing up for you around relationships. There could be a lot of insight, clarity, or understanding with whatever the activations are within relationships. So whatever you're currently moving through in your one-on-one connections, this is where there can be some insight, better understanding. So you do want to be paying attention on this day to what is showing up with that sun conjunction to the north node. It could be big developments on your needs, wants, and desires within relationships and the direction you want to move in. Now, on the 5th, we're going to have Venus entering Aries. So Venus is going to enter your seventh house, again, bringing a lot more focus to relationships, especially too, because Venus is your chart ruler. So, I mean, there could be a lot of new one-on-one connections developed. There could be a lot of leveling up with the relationships you already currently have. But yeah, there's a lot of focus on relationships this month. Then we get to the second week of April, and on the 8th, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Aries conjunct Chiron. So there's been a lot of activations around Chiron. Now, Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron represents our wounds, vulnerabilities, insecurities, trauma. And so there may have been a lot surfacing within the last few weeks around insecurities, especially within relationships. So having that awareness to be able to pinpoint kind of what those are, what's been showing up for you. It could be past hurt. It could be past, whatever created the insecurities in the first place, really becoming aware of that and really healing. We're all going through this amazing healing journey and process right now with all these Chiron activations. And so with the new moon solar eclipse, this is like a really big new beginning, especially around healing and healing of the self because it's Aries. So there's quite a lot going on now. I'm going to post a separate video about this solar eclipse going much deeper into the energy. So make sure you watch for that. I post lunation videos all the time. So don't go too deep into the lunations and the horoscopes and the monthly horoscopes, but make sure you watch for the solar eclipse video I'll be posting because I'll be going over the chart and then also all 12 rising signs, getting really deep into this energy. But this is where there's something new being activated and triggered around relationships. So it could be, like I said, any relationship coming in or a leveling up with the relationships you already have. Now, between the 9th and the 11th, we have the Mars Saturn conjunction. So this is where it becomes a little bit tricky because Mars is the ruler of that seventh house and all of this energy that's going on. So when we're talking about relationships and one-on-one connections, this is where there can really be a stop, a hold, block. There's something here that you're having to address, you're having to navigate, maybe make adjustments. It's in your sixth house of work, health, and daily routine. So it can be showing up in that way. Now, Saturn being in Pisces is wanting us to become accountable and responsible for our energy, for our emotions. Saturn's kind of making us all emotionally mature in a sense. And so this is where something can really come to a head within relationships, and you're really having to, become aware of certain aspects of yourself that are possibly maybe get in the way. Again, it can fall back into those insecurities and all that Chiron energy. But this is where there definitely is something showing up that you're having to navigate, whether it is around relationships and one-on-one connections. I mean, Saturn rules the fourth house of home and family, so it could have to do with those themes and topics, or it could have to do with your work, health, and daily routine. I feel like it's more relationships because of all this energy here in Aries and Mars ruling all of that. But I want to hear all of your astrology stories below. So I want to know how all this energy shows up for all of you the entire month of April, because we have so much going on, and I love to see how these energies manifest. So please feel free to comment below and let me know if anything, really significant kind of shows up for you with these energies. But yeah, something can really come to a head here that you're having to navigate, especially around relationships. Now, on the 11th, we have the Mercury cazimi at 22 degrees. And so whatever the Mercury retrograde has activated for you, whatever you've been rethinking and reevaluating around relationships and one-on-one connections, and again, this could be business partnerships too. Business partnerships are in the seventh house as well. So if you're single and you don't have a relationship, maybe, there's these one-on-one connections that you have, within your business or work or whatever. It's all your close personal one-on-one connections. But whatever you've been rethinking and reevaluating in this area of life, this is where there can really be some powerful insight to help you navigate whatever you're kind of moving through with this energy. So this is definitely a day to pay attention to. Intuitive downloads, any information, any conversations that you're having, any messages, there's something on this day you want to pay attention to, because it can help you with this whole Mercury retrograde story in Aries, especially around relationships and one-on-one connections. Now, once we get into the third week of April, on the 15th, we have Mercury retrograde conjunct Chiron. Now, the 15th, 17th, and 18th, I find this is all kind of, because it's happening kind of so close together, it's almost like, so the Mercury, I don't want to be confusing. So, okay, the Mercury retrograde conjunct Chiron on the 15th, this has to do with healing. But because then on the 18th, we have Venus conjunct Mercury retrograde, and we also have Venus conjunct the North Node. It's like this whole time period, there's quite a lot going on with big developments around understanding your needs, wants, and desires within relationships, understanding what you're done with, understanding, really getting some better clarity and insight around the direction that you're moving in with your relationships. And again, because of the Venus energies, and especially, the Venus conjunct the North Node, I feel like that's when something very powerful can come in for you around relationships and your needs, wants, and desires. So this is definitely a time period to pay attention to. Now, between the 17th and the 21st, we're moving through the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which is going to come exact on the 20th. This is really big. And again, comment below how this shows up for you. But the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening in your 8th house of your partner's finances, money coming in from outside resources, taxes, inheritance, psychological healing and transformation. Also, the occult and sex is in the 8th house, secrets, and death and rebirth. The 8th house rules death and rebirth. So all those themes and topics are, prevalent with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. But Jupiter also rules your 3rd house of community, neighbors, vehicles, local travel, siblings, cousins, also your communication and your mindset. So, this conjunction is working with multiple areas of our life. Jupiter also rules that sixth house of work, health, and daily routine. And then Uranus rules your fifth house of children, creativity, passion, romance. So, this conjunction can be working with multiple areas of our life. Now, Jupiter is the planet of expansion, abundance, luck, opportunity. Uranus is the planet of chaos, disruption, shock. So it'll be interesting to see what this brings in. I mean, I'm sure for some of you, you are going to get a windfall of money unexpectedly because it could definitely show up in that way. I would be careful of, large purchases that maybe you get in over your head because it's in that eighth house. But yeah, comment below. Let me know how this shows up. This could also have to do with your partner's finances. This could have to do, Uranus is the great awakener. And in the eighth house of psychological healing and transformation, there could be some big developments here around that. Now, on the 19th, we have the sun entering Taurus. So the sun is going to enter that eighth house, bringing more focus to those themes and topics. Then on the 21st, we have Venus conjunct Chiron. So this is where there can be, again, kind of the same with the energy here, when we had Venus conjunct the North Node, whatever those big developments are, there's a lot going on here with healing of the self, you moving through healing so that you can connect within your relationships a lot better in some way. And this is just more of that support kind of, showing up for you, maybe even, support from friends or women in your life. But again, it's like a better understanding of your needs, wants, and desires, and maybe how that's changed. Then we get to the fourth week, the final week of April, and on the 23rd, we will have the full moon in Scorpio. So this is actually our first full moon in Scorpio that's not an eclipse for some time because we had the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio. And so this time last year, this full moon in Scorpio was an eclipse. But this is in your second house of money, finances, material possessions, also your values. So those themes and topics are all highlighted with that full moon. Now, I will post a separate forecast going much deeper into this energy and the chart. But just think back to 6 months prior with the new moon in Scorpio. What were you initiating? What intentions were you setting? Now that is when, they can be coming to fruition. But either way, money and finances is highlighted here once you reach the end of April. Now, I also noted, Uranus moving to 22 degrees, just because Jupiter will be at 22 degrees at this point. And I just kind of noted this here just to show that we will still be in the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction energy, even once we, even on the 23rd. So I just kind of noted that there just to show that we're still kind of moving through that energy. Now on the 25th, we will have Mercury stationing direct on top of the North Node. Again, big developments around your needs, wants, and desires and relationships, the direction that you're moving in within your relationship. This could be somebody coming in that is new, that is very faded and karmic. I mean, there's so much karmic energy for you around relationships right now and new connections. There's like a new journey that you're taking with relationships, whether it is a new person or whether it is just a new journey with a current person. But there's something really beautiful, I think, developing, and where, yes, there can be challenges arising because there's activations of old hurt and trauma and insecurities because of these Chiron activations, but it really is so that you can overcome and transcend all that and move into this new journey with your partner. So I love this. Pay attention on these dates because they're really big developments. And when Mercury stations direct, especially on the North Node, that's when we get a better understanding and clarity around whatever we were reevaluating, during the Mercury retrograde period. And then on the 27th and 28th, we're moving through the Mars-Neptune conjunction, which will be here. This is where, because Mars rules that seventh house of relationships, I mean, this can be very romantic energy. Sometimes this can be, seeing things with rose-colored glasses, over idealizing our partner. Well, for you, because Mars rules your seventh house of relationships. But there might be confusion around this time, or there just might be a lot of romance, right? It really all depends on our personal relationship with Mars, how this energy shows up. But yes, this is a time where We can also feel a little energetically depleted because Mars rules our motivation, willpower, and drive. And when connecting to Neptune, sometimes there can be like a little bit of the word that came was like diminishing of that energy. But we're just not kind of feeling, very motivated. But on the 30th, we have Mars entering Aries, and that is when it is go time. We get our motivation back. We have the drive to go after what we want. But before that, on the 29th, we have Venus entering Taurus. So Venus entering Taurus is bringing more energy and focus to that eighth house and those themes and topics. And then, like I mentioned before, Mars is going to enter Aries on the 30th, which is your seventh house. So it's great for motivation, willpower, and drive because Mars is at home in Aries. Mars does great in Aries. But where we want to be cautious of is when Mars is transiting our seventh house, sometimes there can be more conflict within relationships. There can be a separation period. There can be severing ties. And again, it all depends on your relationship with Mars, how this energy shows up for you. But Libra, I hope this helps you navigate the energies for April. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know in the comments below how all this energy shows up for you. I love to hear all of your astrology stories. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and enjoy my content. And I will connect with you in the next one.